Today is day 11 with Mr. Taylor. We are going to skip the very first problem and move to the bottom of the page where it asks us to write equation for the piecewise function.
Oh, hey, there you are. Welcome back here, guys. So what we're going to do is, we're going to start off with day 11. We're going to do kind of backwards of what it's been doing. So before it gave us the function and we had to graph them. This time I'm giving you the graph. We're going to have to go through and name the functions and then tell me the domain. So keep in mind when we're doing this, we're going to deal with lines. So we're always going to be looking at the y equals mx plus b. Remember, m is going to be our slope and b is going to be our y-intercept. We'll pretend like that says intercept up there. Okay? So if we look at this first line, we can just pick 2 points. I'm going to start there and there. My slope is rise of 2 and run of 1. So my slope of this first line is 2 with the x, because it's mx plus b. My y-intercept is then going to be where it crosses the y-axis. If we follow it up, it crosses right there, which would be where y is 1, 2. So the equation of this first line is 2x plus 2. But we're not finished yet. We need to figure out what the domain is. Because we don't graph this line throughout the whole graph. We need just the domain. So if we look, the line ends right here, which would be where x is 0, and it's going to go that way for forever. So when I'm writing our domain, it's x. We take our arrow, and that's the sign we're going to use up here. And because this isn't an open circle, it's going to be less than or equal to, and our biggest number we have up here is going to be 0. So that's going to be the equation and then the domain of this first line. The first one's all set. If we take a look at the second line, again, just taking 2 nice points from there to there, my rise is going to be down 1, and my run is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So when we go to write this line, my slope is actually negative 1 over 4. We put our x in for our equation, and then we just need our y-intercept. We look back and we realize, oh, our y-intercept is at 2. So again, the equation of this line is finished. Now we need to look. Our domain starts here at 0, and it's going to go that way forever. So we'd start with the same thing. Our x, take a look at our arrow. Our arrow looks like this, so our sign looks like this. Same idea. It's not an open point, it's a solid point, so it needs to be greater than or equal to, and I want everything that is greater than or equal to 0. So that would be the functions along with the domains for this first example. Let's do one more example together and then I'll cut you loose on the last one. So if we take a look here, again, we have 2 functions. Let's start with this one. We talked before about vertical lines. This is a vertical line. It's always y equals. With these, again, mx plus b, any kind of a flat line has no slope. If we plug a 0 in for m, 0 times x is just going to be 0. All we're left with is our y-intercept. If we were to follow this line across, we'd find, oh, that hits my y-intercept at negative 1. So the equation of that line is just negative 1. Seems weird, but anytime you have just that flat line, your function is going to be just the number where it goes through the y-axis. Now, if we look at the domain, it goes from here and goes everywhere that way. So if I start with my x again, the arrow stays the same way, so it's a less than sign. This time the circle's open. Because it's open, it's going to stay just a less than. We don't put our line underneath it, and we want it to go all the way until this would be negative 1. So this takes care of our first function. We have the function name, and we have the domain. If we take a look at the next one, let's pick 2 points. We can start with our starting point and here. Our rise is going to be 2, and our run would be 1. So when we write our slope, it's rise over run, or in this case 2 over 1, which is just 2, and x. If we look, our y-intercept is right here, which would be at -1. Now all we need to do is finish off this one by writing the domain of this problem. So this one starts here and goes this way. So we'll use the same arrow, but as you see, this circle is closed. So we need to include that, and we started right here where x is -1. So again, we have the function name with the domain, function name with the domain. What I'd like you to do, take a second here, pause the video now, see if you can answer this one on your own. When you finish, go ahead and turn it back on and we'll go over it. Nice to see you back. So, if we look here, again, 2 nice points, here and here. My rise is 1, my run is 2, making the slope of that line 1 over 2. We bring our x with it. Our y-intercept ends up being right here at 2. Now if you notice, this domain was a little different than the other ones. This domain has a starting point and it has an ending point. So we're going to list everything between there. We need to start at -2, and we know it needs to go until +2. So the question becomes, what goes in the middle there? Well, we know x has to fall somewhere in there, and anytime you're writing it with a start point and an end point, we're going to use a less than sign. The last thing it is that we need to decide is, because we have one closed and one open, where is it that we put the equal to sign? And if you remember, anytime it's closed, it's also less than or equal to. So that one was a little tricky. Hopefully we were at least able to get the function name. Now this second one, again, 2 nice points. Our rise is 1, 2, 3, but we went down, so it's -3, and then over 1, making the slope of this line -3. We bring our x with it. Now, this doesn't have a nice y-intercept that we can find, but we can follow this line backwards. So we'd go up 3 over 1, up 3 over 1. So it would actually cross the y-intercept at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my y-intercept for this problem is +6. With that in mind, let's finish off with the domain of this problem. So we're going to start right here at 2, and we're going that way. So again, I make my arrow. So when I write my domain, it's x. I keep my arrow going the same way, so it's greater than. Because it's a filled-in circle, it should be greater than or equal to. And where did we start at? We started at 2. That takes care of day 11 for you guys. It should have you all set up to take care of day 11 homework. Good luck, and we'll see you guys later.